On a Thursday morning, I don't know what woke me up this morning. If it was the cold blast of air that I was met when I left my house this morning, or was it the caffeine that we got a few moments ago? Either way, I'm up now.
Yep, ready to go for the day.
I'd be willing to bet it was the jolt of Christmas that
Probably didn't hurt, that's for sure.
That was probably it. No, I tell you what, so Mother Nature apparently also had a peppermint mocha this morning because 28 degrees in Macon.
Oh my goodness.
And we've been there for like a couple hours now. Like, this isn't like we touched 28 and then we're going to, a quick warm up. We have been below freezing for almost 6 hours in Central
Too early
Georgia.
for this.
Yes, it is. It is November 2nd, and our average first freeze is actually November 11th, so we are about a week early. Still at 28 right now with a light wind out of the west at about 3 miles an hour, but later on this afternoon, we are going to warm to 61 degrees for a high temperature. But here's what I'm talking about. 12:40 a.m. is when we hit 32 degrees, and we have been below 32 degrees at Middle Georgia Regional since then. I want to point out that not all of Central Georgia has been below freezing for this long, but at least in Macon we have, and the coldest was 28, and that's been since 3:45 this morning. So yeah, it's been cold for a while. 33 now in Forsyth, 29 in Roberta, 30 in Butler, Montezuma, 29 in Americus, 31 in Cordele, waking up to 28 in Cochran, 27 in Eastman this morning. 32 in Dublin and 34 over in Wrightsville. Take a look up towards the north though. Blue Ridge checking in at 23 this morning. A couple of spots in the mountains have been as cold as the teens. 26 over in Huntsville, Alabama. So it is cold no matter how you slice it. And we are glad that there's nothing on the radar, because if there was, it would not be rain with this kind of weather. It would be some kind of wintry weather. But again, none of that, and we're not expecting to see any of that. 52 by the noon hour today, and then later on this afternoon, I think we'll briefly get into the 60s. Then through the night tonight, much like yesterday, I think Future View is not getting us as cold as we're actually going to get. Yesterday, it was showing 31, 32 for this morning for Macon. Well, we're at 28 right now, so I expect to get to maybe that 31, 32 range tomorrow morning. And then for tomorrow afternoon, warming close to 70 degrees. A couple spots could hit 70, but I think we'll stay in the 60s, at least in Macon. Saturday morning, closer to 40 degrees, and then by the time we get to Saturday afternoon, several 70s will be on the board. So for football Friday night, 68 for the last tailgate 13 of the year, going to be down in Houston County, 64 for kickoff. Games start around 7:30, so that's going to be after sunset, and then as we wrap things up, it's going to be a relatively quick cool down to 53 by the time games are over. Last regular season of the year for football Friday night as well. 70 degrees for kickoff up in Athens on Saturday, cooling through the 60s during the game. Mizzou coming to town. That should be a pretty good game. In fact, it's probably going to determine who's going to be on top of the SEC East for the year. Let's get into the long-range future view for the weekend. Dry on Sunday. On Monday, mixing in some clouds, but I don't think we're going to see any rain out of that. Once we get into Tuesday here, election day there, could still see the potential for some clouds. So 28 this morning, 32 for tomorrow morning. We'll be back closer to that average of 46 by Monday. At the bus stop, you're definitely going to want the layers, 29. And I say layers because you're not going to need as many of them later on this afternoon. 61 degrees going to be that high temperature. 68 for tomorrow, 73 on Saturday. We do fall back Saturday into Sunday. Sunrise and sunset an hour earlier beginning on Sunday. And then we are right back to 80 degrees by Election Day.